Bonjour, I'm Antoine. Today on interview Marco Shalma, president of MASC Hospitality, founder of Uptown Market and Bronx Night Market. Let's go meet him. Okay, so as you can see, thank God there's the sun, by the way. It's kind of chilly, don't you think?
I know. You took me out on the coldest day of the year, but you know, anything for you, my friend, anything for you.
Okay, so let me ask you. So you're a serial entrepreneur, very successful. But let's talk about the open market that you've launched in Harlem and the Bronx. When did these success stories started germinating in your head? When was that?
It's a great question. So, I mean, the first one was obviously the Bronx Night Market, as you know, in Fordham Plaza.
Yeah.
And that started about almost 5 years ago with a friend of mine, and she's a food writer. So she's basically, she writes like stuff about different foods in the Bronx or whatnot. And she has an amazing aesthetic of like the way that she did things. So I immediately contacted her. Yeah. And we had like a coffee date, right? Like we were going to talk about business.
Yeah.
That ended up being like 8 hours of us talking about food and talking about like businesses in the Bronx. And then quickly it becomes to the point that like, how come there's no like a good big open air market in the Bronx that celebrates the food from the Bronx and celebrate like food entrepreneurs, you know?
Yeah.
Chefs and whatnot. So we kind of like, you know, the idea for it came right there and then, and we said, okay, let's start looking for a place. So when you look for a place, you gotta look for a place that is like big enough, that is accessible, you know, by different transportation or whatnot.
Because we're New Yorkers, we don't have a car.
Exactly, you know, and so we kept looking, and one of the places that was in the Bronx that was Fordham Plaza.
Fordham Plaza,
all the buses, the trains, the Metro North, there's parking available around over there. We knew that was the right place to kind of go ahead and do that. You know, immediately we kind of knew that. And that was that. When it comes to Harlem, it was a little bit of a different thing because I have like a personal contact to that because when I moved to the United States, and I moved to Harlem, and I lived right on St. Nicholas.
Oh, okay,
I used to come
cool area
to this. Yeah, it's very cool. So right on the other side of the park. And I used to come over here to Harlem to eat every Sunday. I used to go to eat this pasta from this restaurant used to be called Covo. And we used to eat this pasta, like eggplant pasta, and it was like my Sunday dish, you know. Like, and then
don't bother me.
After 10 years, it was gone. It disappeared.
Oh, shoot.
Because it closed down, it changed. But I was exposed to this neighborhood, to this area, and I thought like, you know, this is like a fantastic location. You know, I want to do something over there. I want to kind of bring it back a little bit. So that was like, you know, long story short.
So, Marco, so this leads me to my next question. It seems that to me, the Bronx, Harlem are very dear place to yours. Where does this love come from? Because, you know, let's face it, you could put those markets in Manhattan, but Harlem and the Bronx is really something for me that seems very important to you.
Yeah. And I'm gonna say, you know, bottom line is we are focusing on the Uptown community, you know. And Uptown community, predominantly persons of color. You know, there's a great deal of like immigrant community over here. This is what my team is feel more comfortable as demographically. You know, so we know that we are doing stuff that is like super elevated, that's super cool. The kind of stuff that you can find in Manhattan, downtown Manhattan or in Brooklyn, but it has more flavor of like the Uptown flavor. It's a little bit, you know, it's a combination of like more diversity of food, more diversity of culture, you know, and it's all in a place that we feel very comfortable with as a community, as a team. And to be honest with you, anytime that I can stick it to Brooklyn and downtown Manhattan, this is it. I know this is my ruined business for me when I go to Brooklyn, but I'm okay with that. You know? Because, you know, like there's so much culture over here. There's so much great nationalities. There's so many great people over here, and we want to celebrate that in a different way, which is like more food because I love food and I love music, and that's what we do.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay. tell me, so in your formative years, before being a successful entrepreneur, have you ever had a mentor? And who was your greatest mentor? And what is he or what is she? Has she taught you?
Those are great questions. First of all, me being successful is debatable, because I always walk around, I'm always like not as successful as I want to be,
Yeah.
Even though people conceive me as that one, but like I always think that I'm like, in a process of growing and expanding,
Yeah, successful doesn't mean that you don't grow. It's just that, you've been successful and now,
I've had some
you're
success.
spreading
I've
the
had
success.
some successes,
Yes, okay, let's put it this way.
Okay. But throughout the last like, let's say 20 years, I've had a few mentors, and I think like mentorship and the idea is very important because I've had different mentors in different kind of realm of business. I've had people that like taught me everything I know about the hospitality industry. People that like just really kind of formed the way I see the hospitality business as a whole.
Yeah.
I've had mentors within the media world that kind of taught me everything that I know about media and marketing and PR and content.
Yes.
And I've had mentors that taught me about financials. How to be more financial wise financially.
Yeah.
And I think there's 3 or 4 different people throughout my last 20 years that I hold all this to them, and without them, I wouldn't be like you call successful.
All right, okay. So you got like 3 or 4 mentors that really that really gave you the passion about the different aspect of what you stand for right now. Is that correct?
Exactly.
So Marco, let's go back to the market. How do you pick the vendors nowadays?
So nowadays is a good term because now we have a machine that's going. People know us and they apply. We also have about 200 to 300 different vendors already qualified. What we call like people that we work with in the past or whatnot. But as far as like the way that we do things, because we are so integral in the community, we always send like application form to the community boards, to different politicians to kind of spread the word out there to get new people from the areas, Uptown and the Bronx, to apply. When they apply, we put them through like a review process to kind of see that they have what it takes. The product has to be good or whatnot. And then we identify those that we want to work with and help them get through the permits, get through the qualification, and then help them also give them tips about, social media, online presence, how to present themselves.
So you go beyond the fact that say, here's the application, fill it out, and thank you very much for your money. You're really here to push people to be successful at the same time. Is that correct?
And that's the Uptown vibe, because the Uptown, we have a lot of people with like entrepreneurship kind of element to them. They want to start a business.
But they don't know where to start.
Yeah, I mean, they do know where to start, but we give them more resources. We work with different organizations. We work with SBA. We work with like BNYC, which is Black Entrepreneur NYC. We work with Chambers of Commerce to give those vendors more education, more understanding. We do a lot of like giving them a lot of explanation about social media and online, so they can be like, so they can kind of take this as advantage. You got to remember, Antoine, the markets are opportunity for those vendors to try their menus or their recipes or their product, to check their social media, to check their interaction, to work on the process. It is more than it is a financial opportunity. It's an opportunity to check if your business is working.
Yeah, if it's viable or not. Yeah.
Exactly, and what doesn't work, and to improve that. So that's why we're trying to make sure that they understand that. Yeah. Yes, you can make a couple $1,000s each one event because we have so many people coming.
Yeah.
But the key is, if you're smart, that's what we're trying to tell them. Take all what we're trying to teach you and understand how to make your business stronger and more viable.
It's almost like a kind of a mentorship. In some shape or form.
In a way, our vendors will tell you, if you ask our vendor, they will tell you that we go above and beyond with our vendor. We create small chat groups. We create like Zoom meetings. You know, we do a bunch more than what we're supposed to do because it is important to, you know, it's like we all go together.
Exactly.
When they are successful, I am successful, and vice versa. And that's really what, you know, it's just creating a community that's thriving. And that's something that they don't do in Brooklyn or the big boys because they care about the bottom line. Now, don't get me wrong, I care about bottom line, but we can all have a better bottom line when we all work together.
Exactly.
And when you have predominantly, you know, vendors of color and like 80% of our vendors are female, there is a different energy. You know, we all work together to make something bigger and better. And that's really, when you talk about success, that has been my success, to identify that together as a community, we do way better than we'll do individually.
Got it. And talking about the market, we are here, guys. Look at that. This is a wonderful, a great spot to do it. It's so iconic. It's an iconic place. I mean, there's so many movies that have been shot right here at the same time. It's kind of crazy. I feel like I'm in a movie right now.
Well, listen, I want this area to remember for two things: for the Batman movie and for the Uptown Night Market.
I'm not gonna ask you, you know, your favorite street vendor, but have you tried them all?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes. First of all, I will not even answer. If you ask me about like who's my favorite, I'm not going to answer. You know.
We don't ask those things.
You know, they're all my favorite because they're all there for a reason. They're all the vendors that come over there after they pass through the qualification process. We know that they're good. You know. Sometimes there's a preference of what you like more or whatnot, but you know,
everything.
Yeah, and I traveled all over the world to know that I love food. You know, if it's made well and it has a story behind it.
Yeah, exactly.
But for me, it's like, you know, we try every bit of food, and I tell my team also, try it throughout the season, make sure that you know the food. One, because when we market food, we want to make sure that we put our stamp. You know, we have a responsibility for our community to say, you know, if something is good, we're going to give the word out there. And I think, like, you know, all the vendors are great. You know, all our vendors are really great. They really do something like that they're passionate about. Most of them do something that culturally is connected to who they are. You know, whether it's like immigrant or some traditional or whatnot. So you can't go wrong. The food is great. I mean, the food is great. You know, you've been many times.
I've been there. That's why I got the idea of interviewing you.
Listen, the only thing that you need to ask yourself is like, when you come, you see how long the lines are. You know.
That is very true.
Okay.
That is very.
But don't get intimidated. They're not too long for you not to come. So make sure that you do come. You know, I don't want people to think that the lines are too long.
No. Oh, tell me, because what was your dream job when you were a little kid? And don't tell me it was to do markets, because I won't believe you. So what was your dream job?
It definitely was not to do markets. I can tell you that much. You know, I always wanted to work in advertising. You know, I always worked, and then later on it kind of developed into also like to filmmaking, right? And that's why when I came to New York, I already had my undergrad in advertising and marketing, and I came to New York to do like a grad school, NYU, for film school. And those are the two passions. I'm huge on movies, you know, and TV and content. But also after graduating and starting to work, you know, for myself a little bit and some partners, we had some restaurants downtown that we owned. I realized that, you know, I wanted to combine the passion of the food and the hospitality industry with the content and the storytelling and whatnot, and it became like a perfect situation because we come up with a brand, you know, we market it, you know, we create amazing content to kind of that appeals to people, and we have instant gratification because you make a piece of content and you put it out there and people react to that right away. With a movie, I can work on it for 6 years in a dark room before anything happens.
That is very true, yeah.
But then the reward is I get to eat good food every couple of weeks, you know. So I mean, so it became perfect. So if you ask the 5-year-old Marco, he will say probably a filmmaker, you know, like making movies or stuff like that. If you ask the 45-year-old Marco, it's like, I'm right where I need to be, man.
That's great. Okay. Ta-da! Magic wand. You are now the mayor of New York City.
Okay.
Okay. So
I like
what would you do to help bridge the gap between the haves and the have-not communities? What would you do?
Ooh,
It's a heavy question.
it's a heavy, very loaded question, you know?
I know. That's why I ask.
There's a thing that I've been thinking about a lot lately, right?
Yeah.
And it's not going to be directly answering that question because what do I know about all of that, right? But I know that when you give people opportunities, when you open the doors, when you create more possibilities for them to advance, when you give education, then you start to bridge the gap. And I think that's important, And in order to us to be a community, like a unison community, I think we all have to have something to lose. And not, because people talking about the idea of like having to gain something. But I feel like when we all have something to lose, then we all understand that we don't want to lose it. And then it becomes like a thing that we can stand together and do.
Okay, so Marco.
Yes.
What have you learned about yourself in your line of work?
Oh, good stuff or bad stuff?
Both.
I got something that is kind of both. So, what I learned over the last couple of years, especially when we started growing and doing more projects, I learned that what used to be like sort of like attention to detail, or I call it attention to detail, it could have been also perceived as like me, micromanaging or overly,
Overbearing.
Not overbearing, but more like, it's like I wanted things to be done my way, exactly my way, and that's
Got it.
But you can't really control that when you grow and you bring more people to the team. And what I learned is, so when you allow team members to bring their own flavor, it just becomes a lot better, and then I can learn something new. So, it's a process. I'm working on it.
Okay, that's cool. So, what have you learned from New Yorkers and about New Yorkers since you live here?
No, we ain't got no time for nothing. We need everything right now.
The New York Minute, guys.
You know what the craziest thing that I learned though, really, that no matter how great you do, you're only as good as your last event in my case. So like if my last event was successful and it was great and we had a great time, the next day it starts from zero again. We have to prove ourselves again and again, which in a way is good because it makes you like
stimulating.
Rocky, it's just kind of you got to fight all the time, but at the same time it's exhausting sometimes.
This is a perfect segue to my next question. You now have similar markets in other cities. Do you see the same narratives all over the country? Because I think you're in Atlanta, correct?
Atlanta,
Chicago, no?
Austin, and then soon Florida, Miami.
Okay, so is that the same narrative that you experience?
It's all the same in a general note, but here's the thing. Once you do something in New York and successful, you can go and do it over there, right?
Yes.
So I have a partner who lives in Texas, and he wanted to do introduce a new brand into like, let's say, Atlanta, and then bring it to New York. The thought process is like this, if you make something in Atlanta, no matter how successful it is, you bring it to New York, you still have to prove yourself in New York. But when you do something in New York and it's successful, you can take it anywhere around the country.
Did you hear that?
It's a New York success already. And
once you make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. Boom! Sorry, guys.
It is true.
What's your favorite food?
It's easiest question of the day.
Oh, really? Oh,
easiest question of the day. Hands down, my death wish meal will gonna be a rotisserie chicken.
Just like mine.
Perfect. Just like a nice, juicy, crispy skin rotisserie chicken, and then you can finish it off. That's it. I don't need anything else in my life.
Tell me, what's the hardest part of your work?
Wow.
I know we switch questions like that here.
I know, from the chicken. The hardest part of my work. sometimes navigating the bureaucracy and the dance around of like, you know, people like stakeholders and communities, sometimes it gets challenging, you know, because sometimes you know what you need to do and you know what it takes to do something, you know, like I need to create this, I need to promote this, I need to do this, but then you have to, there's so many details that got nothing to do with the actual work itself, that you have to dance around and be, you know, somewhat of a politic, you know, some politician, you know, that sometimes it's because I'm just not like that, you know. I'm let me work. Tell me what to do. Tell me how to do it. I'll go and get it, you know. But sometimes the inside politics, you know, of like New York can get a little bit frustrating.
Yeah, I'm sure. What's the most rewarding part of your work? That's an easy question.
I mean, that's an easy question. You know, not as easy as my favorite food, but but when I come and I see the Uptown community, you know, people, all age, all colors, all, you know, sexual orientation and gender, having a good time one next to another. When I see the vendors are smiling, you know, when I walk around sometimes, there's a moment that in every event that we do, and we walk around and we just see the joy on people. And think about it like this, our event has like thousands of people coming in and we don't have security, you know, we don't have a bad, but we don't have a bad of like an ounce of bad vibe in the house. I walk around and I'm seeing those faces like stuffing food and smiling or starting, all of a sudden there's like they're breaking out in a dance or something like that. I mean, that's just like all the pain goes away right there and then. Oh, like, you know, it's just worth it, you know, for
great.
a few minutes, and then we have to unpack everything and put it back in the storage, you know.
So tell me, what's next for the MASC Hospitality Group?
So, I mean, this year is already kind of coming together like crazy for us. You know, but while we're taking those brands, the Bronx Night Market and Uptown Night Market into the next level, really kind of adding more elements of the community, more food, more visual arts and stuff like that, and, you know, more music even. Then we are bringing new brands. You know, we have a new brand coming up. It's called Eat Good Food, which is specifically to, you know, like, it's almost, think about it like the best buffet that you've ever had, but designated to a particular cuisine, you know?
Oh, okay.
So it's really great. And then we are looking to do like something in Randers Island at the end of the year, and we have a pop-up. So we really want to take the way that we do business and take it more to our communities around over here and just kind of really kind of be out there and just give more opportunities to the small businesses. So a lot more of the good stuff. That's what coming up.
That's great. That's great. I can't wait. All right, my last question. If you were a tool or an object.
Some people think I'm a tool, but like, but that's
no, but not that tool. But if you were a tool or an object to help, you know, your project, MASC Hospitality, to a greater heights. What would you be?
So here's a funny thing, right? When I was 3 years old, my mom gave me a nickname. So it's not really a tool, but it's a piece of machinery.
Okay.
The bulldozer. You know. So my nickname was the bulldozer, and still is. And I think like if I was a tool, it would be that, because I move mountains to get to where we need to go. You know, like I don't. My brain does not register as a no. You know, and if there's something is good and we believe in that, I will literally move mountains to do that. So while it's not really a tool, it is a tool. It's a big piece of machinery. You know?
So bulldozer it is, guys. That's it, folks. That was Marco from MASC Hospitality Group, founder of Bronx Night Market, Harlem Night Market, which, by the way, when did they start this year?
So the Uptown Night Market starts on April 14th.
Okay.
It's a Thursday, the second Thursday of the month, and Bronx Night Market on April 30th, the last Saturday of the month. You can check it out on MASC Hospitality or any of the social media that's going to be showing up over here.
Exactly, yes. So, guys, thank you very much for watching. You know the drill. Subscribe, share, like, comment. We need your all. But in the meantime,
stay warm.
No, it's selfie time. Where are you? Attends. Oh my God. Where are we? You ready? Is the phone working? Yes. Okay, good. It's so cold outside, guys. That's very smart. 1, 2, 3.